When I was 13 years old, something happened that I'll never forget. It was the first time my parents had trusted me enough to leave me home alone overnight. We lived in a peaceful, safe little town, the kind of place where neighbors smiled at you, kids rode their bikes freely, and people didn't lock their doors until late at night. It felt like nothing bad could ever happen there, which is why my parents felt okay leaving me alone. My older sister wasn't home that weekend, so it was just me. My parents had us young, so they were still very active. They liked going out, traveling, and having fun with friends. That night, they were heading out of town and left me with $20 to order pizza. I was thrilled. It was every kid's dream. Video games all night, pizza for dinner, and no parents to tell you when to sleep. I was obsessed with James Bond games back then. I had just finished playing Nightfire on my PlayStation 2 for the third time and was about to switch to another game, Agent Under Fire, while I waited for my pizza. I called Johnny's Pizza, our favorite spot just a few blocks away, and ordered a regular pie. I could easily eat 3 slices, and my mom had told me to wrap up the leftovers in foil and put them in the fridge. When the doorbell rang, I rushed downstairs with the $20 bill. The man who delivered the pizza looked rough, probably in his mid-30s, long, messy beard, greasy glasses, and a black trucker's hat. As I gave him the money, he handed me the pizza and the change. But then, as he looked at me, his eyes moved past me into the house. He asked, "You alone here?" I paused. It was a creepy question. My parents had warned me about talking to strangers, especially when home alone. I answered, "My parents are on their way back." I thought it was smart at the time, but looking back, I wish I had just said no. He gave me the rest of the change, and I quickly shut the door. I went to the kitchen, ate my pizza, then saved the rest and put it in the fridge like my mom told me. I went back upstairs and played more video games. Hours passed, and everything felt normal until around 11:45 p.m. That's when the doorbell rang again. I thought it was my parents, so I happily ran downstairs and said, "Mom? Dad?" But a strange voice answered from the other side. "Hey, I need help. Can I use your phone?" I stopped in my tracks. I didn't know the voice. I asked, "Who is this?" He just repeated, "I need help. I need to use your phone." Fear crawled up my spine. I didn't want to open the door, and I was too scared to even look out the window. I turned and started heading upstairs when I heard a loud bang on the door, followed by the man's voice again. "Wait, please, I need help." He had seen me. He must have been looking through the glass at the top of the door. I turned and could see the shape of his head against the dark porch. Even though I couldn't make out his eyes, I could feel him staring at me. I ran up to my parents' room, the only room with a phone, and called my mom. She answered groggily, probably after a few drinks, but her voice changed completely the moment she heard the fear in mine. She quickly asked me if I had spoken to the man or let him know I was home. I said yes. Her voice got even more serious. She asked, "Did anyone else know you were alone?" And right then, I remembered the pizza guy. I told her everything. While I was on the phone, the doorbell rang again, twice. I told my mom, panicking, that the man wouldn't leave. She told me to lock myself in their room, turn off the lights, and stay quiet. She was calling the police on another phone. As we waited, I heard something terrifying, the side gate of the house opening quietly. It was the kind of sound that wouldn't stand out unless you were listening for it. I told my mom, and she just kept repeating, "Stay quiet, don't move, don't talk." I whispered, "What if he tries the den window?" But she just hushed me. I tried to stay calm, but then I heard footsteps downstairs, inside the house. I whispered this to my mom, and I heard her scream something to the police. She told me to hide under the bed and not make a sound. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. Then I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. Our bedrooms were right off the staircase, so I knew he was checking them. Then I heard the doorknob to my parents' room jingling. It was locked, but he kept trying, gently knocking a few times but not saying anything. After a moment, the footsteps fade away. He went back downstairs. I stayed frozen under the bed. Minutes later, my mom said the police were outside, but told me to stay put. Suddenly, I heard heavy footsteps and someone shouting my name. "It's the police!" My mom gave me the okay to open the door. I found 2 officers upstairs and 2 more downstairs. The backsliding door was wide open, and so was the window in the den, how he had gotten in. I told them everything and mentioned the pizza guy. When my parents got home, we went to Gianni's the next day. They asked the manager about the delivery guy. He said it was probably Phil, who was out on another delivery. We waited for over an hour, but Phil never came back. The manager got nervous and asked us to leave. We never went back there, and lawyers didn't take our case due to a lack of evidence. My parents were shaken and didn't leave me home alone for a long time after that. To this day, I believe it was the pizza guy or someone working with him because no one else could have known I was alone. Years later, we moved to a secluded house in the woods of Idaho. My parents had retired and built their dream home. Huge, quiet, no neighbors, just deep forest all around. One night while they were out, I was watching a movie with my girlfriend when I suddenly felt uneasy. The windows behind us looked out into the pitch-black woods, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was watching us. After she left, I went back downstairs to turn off the lights. That's when I saw him. A man, wild-looking, filthy, with crazy eyes and a wide, unnatural smile, stood outside the window holding a knife. He tapped the glass gently, over and over, just staring. I slowly backed away. In the next room, I turned off another light and saw him again. He had moved to the sliding door. He just stood there smiling. I didn't say a word. My parents came home minutes later, and when I told them what I saw, my dad grabbed his rifle and went outside. My mom told me there had been reports of a man lurking around homes in the area. That night, I heard tapping on the windows again and footsteps on the roof. It went on for weeks. Then, one night while I was home alone, I heard footsteps in the snow outside. My dog growled, something he only did when he knew someone was there. Then came a knock. Slow, deliberate. I stayed quiet. The next morning, I found footprints circling the entire house, stopping at every window. I followed them into the woods, but they zigzagged and doubled back. I didn't go far. I had a bad feeling. That night, the man came back. I saw him from the second-story deck. Same smile, same eyes, same knife. I grabbed the shotgun and yelled that I'd shoot. He didn't move, so I fired a warning shot. He backed away slowly into the woods. I let the dog loose. He chased the man off, and I never saw him again. Another time during spring break, my college friends and I rented a cabin in South Carolina. It was cheap, remote, and looked perfect in the pictures. But when we got there, the place was old, dirty, and surrounded by thick woods. The owner had warned us not to wander deep into the forest, saying there were broken wells and snakes. We laughed it off. That night was fun until I woke up around 3 a.m. to a tapping sound. At the window, I saw a pale man with no shirt, wild hair, and blank eyes. His face was right against the glass, just tapping with his fingers. I froze. My friend Matt saw him too and jumped up, scaring the guy off. The next morning, we found bare footprints circling the cabin, even at the upstairs windows. We stayed one more night, but this time we locked everything. Around 3:30 a.m., Matt saw the man again, this time inside the kitchen. He was naked with long red scratches all over his back, swaying in front of the fridge. We turned on the lights and he was gone. The back door was wide open, not broken, just unlocked. We packed up and left immediately. When we told the sheriff what happened, he wasn't surprised. He said people had reported strange squatters in the woods before. We mentioned the cabin owner, and the deputy's reaction made it clear he knew something. A few days later, the listing vanished. We never got our deposit back. But that man's face, his eyes, I still see them in my nightmares.